it's about a person, or it's about something that everyone talks about. I'm sure they talk about it in Belgium, I'm sure they talk about it in the Netherlands, in France, where some of you come from. I'm going to talk to you about the magical button. Have you heard about the magical button? It's nothing to do with the magical triangle, but it's the magical button. It's like Alice in the Wonderland, who eats her pin and suddenly miracle happens. Okay? And translated in our words, it's these tools that you push on this magical button and suddenly you sit down, you relax, and you have nothing to do anymore. It's like the dream of every marketeer, and I'm going to talk to you about this magical button. So this magical button in our words is called tools, or automated tools. And because I've heard the story for years, because also when I was agency manager at Google, I used to visit active agencies in AdWords once every quarter. And I used to very often hear comments about, oh, you've released another magical button, and what are we going to do now? Let's say, what is our job going to be now? And also I've heard probably lots of rumors about people selling these kind of miracle solutions that can help you in your daily job. So in order to be able to see what's in it there, let's say I've asked myself the question, can automated tools replace your agency? Which is probably a question that you all are asking. So let's start maybe, and that's for the girls. Are there many girls here? Because there's only one woman speaker. There's only guy speaker except for the keynote, so at least, okay, all right, it's the keynote speaker. But we started with Sonny Crockett. Sonny Crockett, which is a very handsome guy in Miami. And you probably all know Miami Vice. Yes, of course. Women out there, you like Sonny Crockett? Yes, of course. Now, why is he charming? Why is he charming? Is he charming because he's smart? Is he charming because he's handsome? Is he charming because, as opposed to me, he's fashionable? Or because he wears Ray-Ban glasses back in the 80s? Okay? Or is it because he drives a 365 Daytona Spider Ferrari? So that's his tool, and his tool back in '84 has got 352 horsepower, 281 kilometers an hour. 23 years later, this same Sonny Crockett is now Colin Farrell. Of course, times has changed, and he's driving at that time a Ferrari F430, which is much more powerful. So, of course, in the meantime, he has driven like a Testarossa, the Tommaso Pantera, so he has a good time with his tools. And there's an increase, 39% in horsepower, 12% in kilometers an hour. But at the end of the day, what matters? Is it his tools, or is it the team they're working on? So I'm not going to adventure myself in answering this question, otherwise I will have all these women shouting at me. But I'm going to talk about the subject which I more or less know. Okay? And that's tools. So I'm going to first, before let's say I get into the debate, I'm going to do an overview of the type of tools that exist on the market. Then I'm going to talk to you about the agency's challenge, and then I'm going to talk to you about the advertiser's challenge. Then we see what's next in order to be able to conclude. So let's start with the tools overview. So let's make it clear and simple. Of course, everyone wonders about the multi-functional tool, which is the very good kind of Swiss knife that you used to say I can put it in my pocket, but it's a bit difficult to put this one in your pocket. But it does not exist. Okay? And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there is not such one tool that does everything for you. Okay? So there are many types of tools, and I'm going to divide it up in 4 parts. And each tool, I'm going to always give you an overview of tools that Google has developed in this area, and then the complementary tools of the market that has developed complementary tools, and why is it complementary to Google? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about search marketing, and we want Microsoft to be, or to have a bigger share, let's say, of let's say the market. But it's not the case right now in Belgium. Let's hopefully that it will be like that in the future, and we'll talk about that as well. So here's a couple of tools, of type of tools I'm going to talk to you about. Setup tools, the bidding tools, the management tools, okay, and the reporting tools. And you'll understand as well why I have divided it up into these 4 categories. So let's start with setup tools. Maybe some of you remember, or some of you have worked on AdWords back in 2005, 2006, where you used to work on CSV files, where you used to work on bulk uploads, where you missed like a single line and you had to do the work all over again. Okay, I can see smiling faces here. And maybe you remember that if you missed like a line, you had to dig into your sheets and to see what was right, what was wrong, and it took sometimes hours for like solving just a line problem, just a position problem. That was the time of bulk uploads. And by the way, for the ones who work on Facebook, Facebook has the same kind of problem now. Normally, most people working on Facebook have the honor to be able to do everything online and putting interest per interest manually in. And for the ones that have, let's say, a direct relationship with them, they can ask Facebook to do them like a favor, and suddenly they whitelist your account, and wow, you've got like bulk uploads. Basically, I feel like with Facebook that we're back in 2005. At the time while we were working with AdWords without AdWords Editor. Now, AdWords Editor was launched in 2006. Now we're using like version 9.0 with something that's engineering's, let's say, language, but it has been updated 24 times since, and it means 4 to 5 updates a year. And it means basically that it continuously develops. It is integrated with tools such as the search-based keyword tool, the contextual tool, the traffic estimator, any freeware on the market, or any agency tools that have been developed. But by far, when it comes to setup tools, AdWords Editor has changed the way we've done things. Why? Because we're able to get, let's say, more into details of campaigns. We're able to set up, let's say, more campaigns quicker, more in-depth. We're able to basically incorporate all these new tools and get, let's say, a better understanding of your planning, a better understanding of your keywords, a better understanding as well of let's say, structural aspects such as targeting specifically mobile, targeting specifically display, etc., etc. It is by far that I don't know anyone that works now on AdWords that doesn't work with AdWords Editor. Even all these people working at companies where your IT department does not allow you, let's say, downloading, let's say, unknown software. But it is by far, let's say, the best setup tool that has been put on the market. And when we come to the second type of tools, then we've got like the bidding tools. At the end of the day, AdWords is all about bidding. So it's all an auction, and therefore Google plays a major role in terms of bidding. Now, remember back in 2005, 2006, Google encouraged you through every means to implement conversion tracking. Conversion tracking, which was basically this tag that you put, and it is still the case, on the thank you page of any action or any measurable action, which started basically only as a measuring tool. But then it very quickly evolved into an automatic bidding tool, which was Conversion Optimizer. So Conversion Optimizer at the beginning, it relied on data that came out from these campaigns and gave a lot of intelligent metrics to Google in order to include, let's say, the conversion chances or the conversion rate within the bidding. And in the beginning, you were only allowed to use this free word within AdWords if you had like 200 conversions per campaign per month, which for many Belgian advertisers is quite a lot, since you know that every account has minimum 2 campaigns already, Belgium French, Belgium Dutch. And these limits have continuously decreased because the limitations, or let's say the technology has evolved so much. And these limits today are at about 15 conversions per month, per campaign. And also you have, let's say, more specialized tools on the display network, like the Display Campaign Optimizer or Explorer, as it is called, which uses double-click technology. Then also you've got loads of AdWords features, for example, enhanced CPCs. which are able to look at your conversion history and be 30% more or less, depending on the ranking, that it should maximize your let's say, your chances to get a conversion. You can look at target CPA now in your settings, which looks at the historical data of your conversion rather than just the conversion happening within the session. Then you've got manual automatic bidding, you've got advanced campaign experiments, you've got rotations, which is very new now, rotations which are based on conversions rather than click CTR, which was maximizing Google profitability. But now suddenly there are this availability in terms of settings in order to maximize your chances, your profitability, and demographic bidding aspect. I can go on and on and on about it. So why would other vendors develop their tools? So here, the main logic for other vendors to develop such tools, the main logic is because, okay, we're not all in the Belgian market where Google has more or less 100% of online marketing in search because at the moment Microsoft is not directly present on search in Belgium, but it's once you're in a market where there is cross-engine bidding, let's say Yahoo, let's say Bing, then there is a logic in order to use an automatic bidding, which optimizes your bidding throughout, let's say, cross engines. Another reason is that sometimes tools or vendors know the advertiser's business much better, so they can optimize this based on different metrics, such as revenue profitability of the advertiser, such as revenue on advertising spend, or automatic or semi-automatic rules. Now, as you know, there's many, let's say, companies that have developed themselves these tools, and an example of that is eBay, which has developed a tool which is called Triton, and there's many external vendors such as Acquisio, Omniture, BigBuddy, Atlas, Microsoft, A-Quantity, GoToast, or agency developed tools. Now, for the moment, these doesn't play a major role. Why? Because these tools are very expensive, licensing based, and to give you an example, Omniture, which is very famous for its web analytics, has got also automatic bidding tools. Now, Omniture also sells services. Their business model is about service, and then it's about licensing fees. And in order for the technology to work, they need lots of data. And let's say, more or less to give you an idea, they want or they need about 50,000 euros a month spent on AdWords in order to make sense to their technology. And there's not many advertisers in Belgium that have that. So it needs quite a lot of, let's say, quite an advanced marketing in order to get into that. Now, the third type of tools are the management tools. Management tools, by the way, AdWords 2.0, okay, is very focused on management. And why management is to simplify extremely your daily tasks. And let me give you a concrete example. The search query report in the past, you were looking at the reports tab of your account, you were running every report, and then you were downloading it or exporting it into a CSV or Excel file. You were comparing your queries and your keywords where not all the data was available. And then you were manually changing or modifying keywords, or then adding negatives. This task that you normally should do every week would take you 2, 3, 4 hours. Whereas now, where it's integrated into the AdWords management platform, it takes you roughly half an hour, if not less. So that's a major evolution, and the AdWords platform has evolved a lot with the Opportunities tab as well, which gives you lots of keyword IDs. Now, even though it gives you sometimes a bit of everything and nothing at the same time, at least it gives you the inspiration and the methodology that can be incorporated into using it in the best possible way, or ad scheduling, etc., etc. But AdWords Editor as well, okay, or AdWords Campaign Experiments, which helps you experiment different types, let's say, of whatever you choose to be able to test things simultaneously. And based on these simultaneous tests, you can see whether it has an effect or not on whatever metrics that you have chosen. Now, the AdWords platform and AdWords 2.0 that were launched 2 years ago gives you lots of tools in order to automate tasks, to integrate editing, change keywords, bids, ads, etc. But it's still not totally complete. And therefore, Google has made the API available in a push mode so that vendors can develop technology that can do these automated tasks. Now, just just a clarification here. The API of Google AdWords has two modes. It has the push mode and the pull mode. The push mode is to give orders to the system, which is the case here in terms of management. The pull mode is to extract data and then do it with it whatever you want. With Google Analytics API, there's no push mode, there's only a pull mode. Okay, it's important to understand that. As we talk about management tools, the idea is to complement the management tools. And why would you do that? Once again, because you would like to bring the clients, the advertisers' business closer to the platform. So by cross-engine editing, once again, by integration of the advertisers' business, such as product feed, available stock, quantity, prices, it's great to have in an automated way prices that are updating in the ad text. It increases the CTR, it increases as well the conversion rates. Again, a great job of an automated tool if it's well managed. And this you can only do with external vendors. Google has worked on this project about probably 1 year or 2 years ago, and from what I've heard, because I haven't heard much about it, they seem to have abandoned it. So it means there is a complementary work with let's say, external vendors. And who are these external vendors? Again, the usual suspects. Acquisio, a Canadian firm, which is a very big company, again, Omniture, a WordStream, ROI, Revolution, all agency-developed tools themselves. Then, let's say, a last type of tools are the reporting tools. And our reporting tools, there, I believe that Google is less good in. Why? Because they're very good at using a lot of data, making it available, but not necessarily aggregating to the needs of the advertiser. So yes, you've got alerts, you've got the search funnel, great information, you've got ad preview, diagnosis, dimension, etc. Timo spoke about intelligence in Google Analytics, which is really also great data, but fortunately, you've got the API which is available in a pull mode. Why? So that you, as every advertiser dreams of, have a cross-online dashboard that gives you, let's say, the idea of what's going on in every aspect, in every search engine, in every online marketing initiative, but then also that it gives you data aggregation and prediction planning, which is something that they don't get into, maybe from an analytics point of view, but not from an AdWords point of view. And again, usual suspects, and again, agency-developed tools. Now, what's the agency challenge at the end of the day? Okay, business is a continuous championship, okay, where you have to train in order to win. So if you train, okay, you take your old shoes, okay, you start running and you train, okay. You take, for example, more adapted shoes to your industry and you train. Or you take old shoes that are still very fashionable, like Sonic Rockets, okay, and you train with them, or you need to be equipped with all the tools. But the most important is that you train, is that you have a positive attitude. So at the end of the day, is what is your business model? Do you see this as a threat? Like, let's say, some cases I've seen in the past, like the people who believe in the magical button or who are afraid of the magical button, okay? In this case, I can already tell you now, automated tools will replace these type of agencies. It will, because there are great things, and I hope that I've already convinced you about certain aspects of automated tools. There are great things about automated tools if you include it into your business model and methodology in the right way. So if you look at it as an opportunity, if you adapt your business as an agency to this use of tools, everyone with his adaptation. Now there's also a big question is, do you use your own tools or do you externalize your tools? It's a big question. Again, there's no right answer for that. But the most important is that you have this discussion, that your agency is following everything when it comes to tools, and that you at least take a position and understand and have a rationale towards managing expectations and growing your business, your client's business. And then at the end of the day, if you take paid tools, how would you price it? How would you incorporate it into your service or not? Again, it's a question to have and it's an important reflection to have. Now, that was for agencies, but advertisers at the end of the day, to be honest, they want to get on the top or they want to stay on the top, depending on their market position. But tools or no tools, most of the advertisers I see, they don't necessarily care. What they care about is to go on top or to stay on top. So, but in order to do that, they need more accurate data. They need more precise communication. Why? Because they need to be able to better target, okay, the right audience at the right moment with the right message, cross-channel, okay? And they need people to help them to do that, or tools to help them to do that. And at the end of the day, it's all about seizing the opportunity and improving their return on investment. And then it's also a term in terms of time management. Some advertisers decide to internalize services, some not, to work with a winning team. Most important is to have an evolved reflection around it and to think about who's doing what and how can you free up time in order to maximize on your let's say, your goals, your initiatives. And depending on what they are, depending on what the goals are, is at the end of the day to leverage the opportunity. So at the end, what will you do? Okay, what to do? Do you fire your agency? Yes, let's say you do that. Let's say that you fire your agency, and in terms of perspective or tools, because from now, okay, at least I hope most of you are convinced tools are important. Automated tools have very positive sides. You have to use something, you have to integrate a methodology. You have to at least think about it, and you have to use the best out of it in order to reach your objectives. So, but if you're going to do that, will you debug it? Will you update it? Will you set it up? Will you manage it? And there's a heck of a lot of tools that I didn't even talk about. So yes, the answer, and I believe that automated tools will not replace your agency at the condition that your agency integrates not only methodology, makes choices, and let's say integrates this reflection and brings on the value add to the advertisers, because at the end of the day, it's all about making a choice, being consistent in order to set up a winning team, whether internal or external, but with the ones working with your agency, is getting the most out of them. And at the end of the day, tools, even though there's lots of people very excited about tools, and I am sometimes as well, but they're not a mean in itself. What matters is really your objective, and what matters is maximizing, let's say, clients or advertisers' objectives. And at the end of the day, it's all about an opportunity, and you need to seize it. So here was my presentation. If you want to hear more about our reflection of tools, don't hesitate to come and talk to me afterwards. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.